Alright, I've got a beef with paleoconservatives.
Okay.
I think that if you base on the 2006 elections, the United States really seems to have negative feelings towards Republicans, and paleoconservatives are not helping because there is an inevitable double standard where the majority of the U.S. is liberal, and I think it's like 75 million Democrats, 55 million Republicans, and 45 million independents. So the Republicans are bound to be held to a double standard. If a Democrat does something bad, then whatever. But if a Republican does something bad, then the Democrats, who are the majority, can, use that against Republicans.
They can.
The Democratic Party is like the party of the people. Okay, that's why, and they're completely outnumbering and basically dominating the Republicans.
Boo! Makes me want to cry.
Ron Paul and the conservatives and the paleoconservatives are not helping the party at all.
Yeah.
They are very anti-immigration, that's fine, but they are also, for the most part, anti-Semitic. A lot of them are anti-war.
Anti-gay?
Very rabidly anti-gay. The paleoconservatives are typically associated, it's not entirely true, but the paleoconservatives are typically associated with right-wing extremism, with the militias, with attacking homosexuals. Those aren't like mainstream Republicans, and those guys aren't even neocons. They're the paleoconservatives. They love the conspiracy theories. The people.
Yeah.
There's liberals, but they're also like the people who think that the government's lying to them and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're the isolationist paleoconservatives. The paleoconservatives are the isolationists. They're in the middle of nowhere with their guns and their fallout shelters. They do not like the government. They keep to themselves. And if you send soldiers after them, then something like Waco will happen.
And anything else you have to add? I have a good example would be someone like Rick Santorum from Pennsylvania, who said in a hearing, he said homosexuality is a threat to the American family. That is like a ridiculous thing to say. This was a few years ago, of course, but like these kind of comments are very controversial.
That sounds like paleoconservatism to me. Those were the original Republicans. Before Israel, before 1948, they were the segregationists.
They've been around this long.
Yeah, they were the segregationists. They hated the government. They're completely, their philosophy is outdated.
Now,
It pains.
I was about to say.
Pains my heart to know that there are people like that in the Republican Party who are racist, and they're misogynistic, and they're bigots, and they don't believe in evolution, and it's like so frustrating.
Now, I have something to say. Because you're a Republican, and a proud one, which is important, what should Republicans be more like? I don't care about the policy because we don't.
Should be more liberal.
But they shouldn't be liberals. They should be more liberal.
Not liberal, but more liberal.
Okay, I'm a moderate liberal myself.
Yeah.
I would never be a liberal because that would eliminate a lot of viewpoints I have.
And I am an extremely left-wing Republican. I believe in.
I
believe in gay marriage.
Stem cell research.
I believe in stem cell research. I am pro-choice, supporting abortion rights for women. And I am an environmentalist to some extent.
Oh, my dad drives a Mercedes.
And I drive an SUV also.
Well, that's because of safety features.
You know what I mean. The Republicans should be pro-gay, pro-stem cell, and pro-choice. That is how you can help the Republicans.
And what are the Republicans doing right now that's good, do you think? Anything in your mind that you agree with for the Republican Party?
The Tea Party protests. I like that they're rallying people on both sides of the political spectrum to stand up to Barack Obama and say, no bailouts, no more ridiculous government spending. And they're saying that, they don't want universal health care. They don't want people who, like poor ignorant people who watch the G4 TV commercials about like, hey, do you want $40,000 free cash right now? Then, go to this website.
Do you want to lose 20 pounds in a week?
That too. But there's so many debt consolidation things. I want to break down what caused the economic crisis.
Airsoft 326's breakdown of the economic crisis.
Okay. I'd say about 20% were the bad mortgages. The liberals, who Rush Limbaugh says that the liberals put guns to the bankers' heads. Not entirely true, but I guess arguable. And force them to give loans to poor people who cannot pay them back. Because otherwise you are racist and you're anti-American.
Well, I mean, over the 8 years of the Bush administration, all the money we've been using for other causes that we've now lost, and the debt we were already in, I mean, this is a much more likely event that happened to have a recession in the first place. If the liberals did that during the Clinton administration, I'm not saying Clinton was perfect, but he did have an $80 billion surplus. If we did it during those times, it would be more likely that we wouldn't be in a complete mess in one instance. It led up. It was a 8 years of bad choices that lost money, was inefficient, and now this one event happened and caused a meltdown for the global economy.
All right, how about this?
How about this?
20% of the economic crisis were the bad mortgages. 15% was the war on terror, colossal drain of money. 20% could be, I guess, corporate greed and Ponzi schemes.
Hey, Madoff.
20%, another 20% could be, I had this all written down, but I'm playing general, so I can't access it. Another 20%, I guess you could say, that's bad, whatever that is. Cool.
See, when we're talking about corporate meltdown, this happens.
Yeah. Ironically enough. Okay.
Right.
So,
wrapping up statement.
Corporate greed. Bad mortgages. The war, drain on money, but the war wasn't, the war wasn't as horrible as the liberals want you to think it was.
Mm-hmm.
It was a colossal drain on money, but we should have had economic growth here. I think 20% was irresponsible spending on the part of the American people, having a credit card and just getting under loads of debt. Because they just...
And how about businesses with layoffs and everything and bad decisions in the business world?
Well, I think 20% would be the stock market.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
there you have it. Stock market, the war, corporate greed,
poor choices at home.
But the bad mortgages and the irresponsible spending were kind of irresponsible, like individual spending could be blamed on the Democrats. The war can
not 100% on the Democrats.
Almost 100% on Democrats.
Oh, man.
Because of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac.
Oh, we're gonna talk about Barney Frank. Oh boy.
Oh, God, so much. You know he had the nerve to call Justice Scalia a homophobe?
Did you see him against Bill O'Reilly? I was laughing my ass off.
Bill
It was
O'Reilly.
the best interview
Bill
I've ever
O'Reilly
seen.
is so much smarter.
Bill O'Reilly is just a hothead.
No, Bill O'Reilly's...
And he even says he's trying to entertain people. What does that mean about his knowledge? I think he's pretty smart, but he's definitely not a guru on intelligence. He's entertaining beyond belief. He gets angry, he gets pissed, he tries to shut down his guests.
Delegitimize Republican talk show hosts by saying they're entertainers.
Well, he said he was. He said, quote, like my show, like they say your show's the number one on cable. And he says, well, a lot of fury happens and it's pretty entertaining. Anyway, that was a good discussion.